everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Now this, you probably recognise it as being the other half of the apple that we turned last week. We turned a nice little natural edge bowl, and this came from that side there. So that's left us with this very interesting piece to try and do something else with. Now we do have some cracking on this end from a branch that has come out, and I'm going to be turning it with this as the top. So I think to get started I need to just take a little slither off here to get rid of this little high point, and we can make something from the rest. I have had a good look at this and I can't see any advantage in leaving this high point on, so we are going to take it off and then make a start. I think I want to be making the cut somewhere along there. Not sure if that's quite parallel, but we'll soon find out. Okay, there we go. I've just taken that little slither off there. It hasn't made an awful lot of difference to the size of the piece, but at least we know that when we're bringing up the tailstock for support, we can get it into a nice flat area. So we're going to use a worm screw again to mount this on the lathe, and I'm just going to measure corner to corner. I want to try and get as much of this face usable as possible, so I'm going to try and get a point in as close to the centre as I can. And the other piece we made from this, the bark came off very, very easily, unfortunately. So I don't hold an awful lot of hope up for this one. Okay, just there. Okay, we're nice and safely on the lathe. We've got tailstock support at the start. I'm expecting this bark to come off as it did on the last one, so I should be wearing a face shield throughout. Now, this is the branch that has come out here, obviously being cut off. This is where this cracking comes from. Now, expect the heartwood from this branch to go that way and hopefully meet up with the heartwood somewhere, hopefully in the middle. We'll be keeping an eye out for it because I'd really like to try and make a feature of that if I can. I've no real preconception of what this is going to look like at the end, so we're just going to let the wood guide us as we carry on. Initially the cuts are going to come across the sides, cleaning up this area, so we'll try and get rid of these cracks. Start to turn at about 650 RPM. We will pick up the speed as we clear this bit of a lump here. Face shield will be on, and I'm starting to turn with a 3/8 inch bowl gouge, and this is the Pro Comfort one with the beautifully shaped handle. Okay, that's quite a rocky ride. Cutting into that end grain is really quite brutal. Apple is a very hard wood normally, and when you're cutting into end grain it's always a little bit more problematic, a little bit more tricky than usual. Also, the fact that you were only cutting like 30% of the time doesn't help either, but we can see that heartwood nice and clearly. We've still got a lot of these cracks to clear, so we are going to need to go in a little bit further. So I think I'm going to try and leave this area here at the moment relatively untouched. I'll go across it a couple of times, but I'm more interested in what's happening about an inch or so in that direction there. Okay, we've taken that down a bit further. Hole certainly, I think I can feel the end of the hole there, about another ½ an inch. So I think I'm going to move this line across here and then take them both further up as well. And hopefully in about another ½ an inch that way, these cracks should nearly be gone. Okay, it's starting to look better. I still think it's going to go in for a little way yet, but so we'll just carry on in a similar fashion. Now I am just going to quickly try and take off a bit of this bark because lumps just hit me in the chest, which wasn't a particularly pleasant experience. Okay, that's got that. Okay, I'm just going to reduce the size of this a little bit so I can get the tool rest in nice and close to continue taking this away. Okay, it's going well. These cracks are persistent. I'll give them that. Still quite deep. Okay, right, quite interesting. You can see that the heartwood around here is starting to spread up to the side to meet the heartwood on the top. You can't see it very well because the wood under here is pretty grotty, but that should hopefully just get bigger and bigger. What I'm also hoping is that it'll start to open up to meet this side as well. I think that may be the start of it just there, spreading down. Which means, if it is, we should start to see it come through on here as well. Okay, that'd be fun to watch for. All right, in terms of the profile, we've got this going out and that one side going in. So no matter what happens, I think we do have to take this up a little bit further. Otherwise we are going to end up with a very, very strange looking piece. I think about there is probably where we want the bottom of the bowl to be. If it is a bowl, probably more of a platter. So take it up until we clear this area here, I think. Okay, we still quite haven't got rid of that hump there yet. I wasn't expecting it to happen quite so quickly. I don't think we're going to clear this crack completely, so we'll just have to deal with it in the usual way. Now I'm leaving this quite long because I wanted to give myself plenty of options in terms of design. I do like it, but it does need to come down a little bit, so I think I'm going to take it down to where that natural edge piece is. So I'll take this down, clear the base, and then reposition the tailstock. Okay, we've cleared the base, repositioned the tailstock, so all seems to be going well. We've got the sapwood now coming through on the base, which is nice. I've got a feeling I want to go in a little bit and before I start to come out, to give it a very refined foot. So I think we'll just investigate that for a moment, see what it does to the heartwood, and see if it'll get us past these cracks as well. Let's refine that a little bit. I'm just stopping now because I need to figure out whether this curve from here needs to go outways or I can afford to go in a little bit there and then out. I do need to clear this, so I think it's going to have to go in and then out. I think that's called an OG shape. That. They're starting to come alive now. The cracks are still there, of course. Of course they are. With the sapwood. Now the sapwood here is starting to run towards that base, which is beautiful. I really like that. And the further we go, the more prominent that is going to be. So I think we've still got this area here, which is really annoying. It does stick out. I mean, if it's there at the end, then let it be there, but I'd prefer it to have gone. Okay, I'm going to start putting a bit more of a curve on these sides to take it up towards the top. I'm not going to go completely to the top, I don't think. Not quite yet anyway. If I do need to go a bit further in here, I'll do that as well at the same time. I really like that. I really like that. I think this bit sticking out here is just going to stay there. What I'm thinking next is I need to refine a couple of the cuts around here. Put a recess in and then start to sand, because when we turn this round and start hollowing out, we're going to get all sorts of shapes appear on this piece. And to me, it's going to kind of look like a diamond in the rough. It's going to have elegant clothes in terms of shape, but also be rustic as well because of the state of the wood, which I like that idea. Okay, right, refine this, recess in, and then sand. Just got a small catch there. I was trying to be too clever. Oh geez. Yeah, That'd be far too clever. Right, let's sort that out again. Okay, that's solved that. Don't ever get angry about making mistakes like that. It happens to all of us. It's easily done. And if you just take your time, it can always pretty much be fixed as well. So, right, carry on with the base. There's a great saying which is, wood turners don't make mistakes, they just make slightly smaller bowls. Okay, I think that will about do that. I'm going to set up for sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it, and I shall bring you back when we're done. Okay, that's all sanded. It's one of the more tricky shapes to sand, but we got there in the end. I didn't bother filling the crack there. It's not overly deep anymore, and sometimes cracks look quite nice. So we've left it as it is, and now we're just going to quickly clean off the surface with a bit of isopropyl alcohol. This will help remove any dust or grit in there. It'll also give us a first look at how this is going to look with a finish on it. It's so nice. If you're enjoying the show so far, then I would really appreciate hitting the like and the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. It doesn't cost anything. It makes a huge difference to us. Thank you. Right, we'll let this evaporate, and then we'll come back up with a Howard's Feed and Wax. I think we'll do the same as we did to its sister. Okay, we've got the Howard's Feed and Wax. We're going to give it a good saturation, and then we'll leave it for 20 minutes to soak into the wood. It really does help bring out the absolute amazing colour of apple. It won't give it a high shine, but it'll give it a beautiful sheen and beautiful lustre. Okay, right, I'll let this sit for 20 minutes and I shall come back, wipe off any excess, turn it round, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, we've turned it round. I'm nice and safely on the lathe. Now, as we start to hollow this out, which hopefully we should start to see this change shape on its profile, on its edges. Now, we've got a kind of a dip area in here. I'd love to see that reflect in the actual overall shape of the top as we do it. Now, we've got a few different options of the kind of style we do here. Because we put the OG shape on the bottom, we could have a flatter base and it could be used as like a candle stand or something like that, or we could just do a straight curve and use it as a small platter or a fruit bowl or something like that. So we'll see how it goes as we're hollowing it out. Speed wise, we're at about 800 RPM 3/8 inch ball gouge and face shield to start with. Okay, nice simple start. I haven't quite got up to this edge yet because I just wanted to check the heights and where I'm at in terms of cut. Now some of them are a bit further away and some of them already at the top of, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. One thing I am wanting to do is we've got this curve here. I want to make sure I've got a curve on the top of the bowl as well, so not only will it curve on the sides, but it's going to curve quite heavily on these edges as well. Okay, we're up to the edges, and as you can see, it's given us this beautiful curve shape. This other one is very, very similar. It's probably a little bit thicker in the middle, same as that one. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Now, the best way to make this kind of cut is to stand fairly upright over the piece so you can see both sides, and you can kind of gauge where your tool is from there. It is a little tricky until you get used to it because it is a bit of a blur. So, right, we're going to carry on. I'll start thinning these down a little bit and then start working in from the edges. Okay, I'm fairly happy with the state of those wings. I'm going to take this down a little bit further, then go over here with a scraper just to get rid of a couple of the tool marks. With this kind of shape of thin winged piece, you don't want to go all the way to the bottom and then start worrying about smoothing out these cuts, because there is a very good chance that it'll start to flex. So you have to be a little bit careful. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I don't really think at the moment I need to get a scraper onto there. It's about 5mm, 7mm thick, something like that. That's pretty good. Right, let's start clearing out more of this lump. Okay, it's going well. These last couple of cuts, as opposed to going in, I've just started to flatten it out a bit, just to, I think I am going to try and leave this with a relatively flat base, just so it's got plenty of uses for whoever decides they want it. Maybe that's my wife again, but we'll see. Right, so I'm going to quickly go and sharpen up again, because apple is a renowned hardwood, just so I can keep these cuts as clean as possible, and then we'll take this the rest of the way in. Pretty happy with that. A little bit of tweaking to do there. I'll just quickly do that with a scraper, I think. Just gonna mark the area with a pen. When it's spinning, it's very easy to lose exactly where you are. Marvellous. More than happy with that. Right, I'm going to set it for sanding. I shall let you watch a bit of it. I shall bring you back when we're done. Okay, sanding went well. And now on with a bit of isopropyl to clean out any fragments of dust. Here's a first look at this wonderful, wonderful grain. I'm very sympathetic with the sanding, especially on the edges, just to make sure to try and leave in all the little dips and grooves that have developed. Okay, right, we'll let this evaporate and we'll come back with a Howard's feed and wax. Okay, that's had plenty of time to dry. So once again, we'll go on with copious amounts of the feed and wax. Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, right, we'll let this soak into the wood for about 20 minutes. I'll come back, wipe it off, have a bit clean up, and then we'll take a look at what we've come up with. Well, there we go, a natural edge apple platter. I know I say it every week, but this one was just so much fun to create and to find inside that lump of wood. There's some absolutely beautiful grain in here. There's, if you can look there, you'll see some ripples on the foot. They're caused from the branch of the wood coming out this way, and where it's come out, it's folded over the wood a little bit, and that's what gives it that ripple pattern. I also love the shape that came out on the top. Remember I said there was a little dip in the top and I wanted to see how that turned out? Well, that's what happened to it. Because of the dip, it created this kind of shape as we were hollowing it out. Now, there's one difference between the two pieces. The first one we turned had an awful lot of worm damage. Well, not an awful lot, but it had some worm damage there on this side. And on this piece, I can't recall actually having seen one, which is nice. We did have a little bit of spalting on the side there, only a tiny little bit, but it's definitely there. So overall, I am pretty happy. That's the orientation these two pieces would have come out of the log. So you can imagine them sat inside all the wood. I must at this point say a massive thank you to Wayne, who sent me this piece of wood along with lots of other pieces, a few that we've already seen turned. So Wayne, thank you again so much. This piece of apple has been an absolute joy to turn. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, and I sincerely hope you have, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all the usual things. And if you could share it as well, then that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, we have just done a giveaway, but if you do leave a comment on this video, then you'll be entered into the next giveaway when that happens. It's probably going to be in the new year sometime. I don't know exactly when. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.